This MacBook is the one they call too weak for AI, and it's writing production code right now. No internet, no subscription, no $20 a month bill. The whole thing is using less memory than a handful of Chrome tabs. By the end of this video, you'll have a 26 billion parameter model living on your own Mac, fully offline, completely free. I'll show you the one trick that makes this possible, the exact commands I ran, and the 3 catches nobody puts in the headline. Everything you're about to see is a real test I ran on this machine this morning. You'll see the receipts on screen. Here's why this shouldn't work. A 26 billion parameter model normally needs around 52 gigabytes just to sit in memory. The Mac most people own has 8. Even my machine has 24. That gap is the entire reason people believe local AI belongs to people with server money. This week, an open source project quietly closed that gap, and it did it with under 2 gigabytes. The trick starts with the model itself. Gemma 4 26B is a mixture of experts model. Those 26 billion parameters are split into small specialist blocks, and for every single word it generates, only about 4 billion of them actually wake up. The rest just sit there, doing nothing. So the question becomes, why keep 52 gigabytes in memory when you only need a sliver of it at any moment? That's what turbo-fieldfare does. It keeps just the shared core of the model, about 1.35 gigabytes, plus the conversation memory in RAM. Everything else stays on your SSD. Then, for every token, it pulls in only the expert blocks that token needs straight off the disk and keeps the 16 most useful ones in a small cache. Your SSD becomes the model's warehouse, and RAM is just the workbench. Now the receipts. I cloned the repo, built it in 88 seconds, and pulled the 14 gigabyte model file. First test, a short question, 16.2 tokens a second. Peak memory, 1.57 gigabytes. Then I made it write 700 tokens without stopping, 13.1 a second, and memory never crossed 1.6. Then the real test. I asked it to write a Python log parser with a regex, a counter, and its own unit tests. It produced clean, complete, professional code. And here's the part nobody shows you. I actually ran the tests it wrote for itself, and one of the 2 failed. Its regex didn't match its own sample data. I'll tell you why, that matters in a minute. One more honest number. On my longest run, the speed eased down to 9 tokens a second as the conversation grew. That's the real shape of this thing, not the demo shape. And my machine isn't the floor. It's the middle. The author's validated target is the 8 gigabyte M2 MacBook Air, the cheapest laptop Apple sells, at 5 to 6 tokens a second. Their claim, not mine. An M5 Pro runs 31 to 35. And one commenter on Hacker News measured 48 tokens a second on an M4 Max at 1.9 gigabytes of memory. The pattern is simple. The machine you already own is somewhere on this ladder. If knowing these numbers before you burned a Saturday on this just saved you an hour, that's this whole channel. I run the tests, you keep the receipts. Subscribe, and if it's paying for itself, there's a member button too. If you saw my last video, you know this isn't the first huge model tiny memory trick. AirLLM runs a 70 billion parameter model on 4 gigabytes by streaming every single layer from disk, every single token. Honest, but brutal. Minutes per token. Fieldfare is the same family of idea with one difference that changes everything. It only streams the experts the token actually needs and caches the hot ones. That's the difference between a science demo and a tool you'd actually leave running. Here's exactly how to get it. Fair warning on requirements first, because this is where most people waste an evening. You need an Apple Silicon Mac on macOS 26, about 30 gigabytes of free disk during the install, and 14 after. No Intel Macs, no older systems. If you're clear, it's 4 commands. Clone the repo, build it. That took my machine 88 seconds. No Xcode needed, just the command line tools. Then run the installer, which streams the model straight from Hugging Face. When it finishes, you've got 3 doors. A Mac app, if you just want a chat window. A command line, if you want it in your scripts. And the one I'd point you at, a local server that speaks the OpenAI API, which means any tool that can talk to OpenAI can now talk to your Mac instead. Same setup, full walkthrough, and a per Mac expectations table are in the free guide. I'll tell you how to grab it in a second. Now the three catches, because trust is the product here. 1. This runs exactly one model. Gemma 426B text only. No vision, no tool calls, no swapping in your favorite model. 2. macOS 26 only. And the speed depends on your SSD staying available. Under heavy memory pressure, one tester dropped from 35 tokens a second to 27. Still usable, but know it. 3. Only 4 billion parameters are awake at a time. It thinks like a sharp mid-size model, not like a frontier one. Remember that unit test that failed its own code? That's exactly what this looks like in practice. So let it draft, and you verify anything that matters. I put everything from this video into a free PDF. The exact commands, the requirements checklist, the troubleshooting for the 3 errors I hit, and a table of what speed to expect on every Apple Silicon chip. Comment the word engine, ENGINE, and my system sends it to you automatically. It's also at hyperautomationlabs.co/free/engine. Real talk. 90% of you watching haven't subscribed. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. That is what keeps the lights on here. On YouTube, it's free and it tells the algorithm to send you more. Subscribe to support us. The machine you were told to replace is enough. The subscription you were told you needed is optional. For years, running real AI at home was a rich hardware hobby. This week it became a free download. Your Mac was invited. Go say yes.